We're taking a break from the normal recordings of the Morgana materials to try to address the more basic question of who am I, what are the Morgana materials, who, what, where, how, what is all of this about? A little foundational information. I'm Spencer. I'm a human being. I'm a normal human being. I am the facilitator of the Morgana materials, and I separate the Morgana materials from Spencer, the human being, for a couple of reasons. To be brief, since I was a small child, have been intuitive. I've been able to pick up on other people, other times, other places, what is going on with someone's mind, what is going on in someone's body. As a child, you think everyone's like you, they look like you, you're learning to talk like them and walk like them and interact with society. So I thought that everyone had this capability and used it all the time. And it was a rather rude awakening when I was little to find out that wasn't exactly the case. I learned to very much mistrust it. It wasn't a skill or a talent that was accepted and appreciated. It was primarily feared, mistrusted, and aggressively put down. So there's a much fuller explanation of this on the website, morganamaterials.com. Make sure you put the S on the end, morganamaterials.com. But briefly here, I learned to think that there was something wrong with me because I wasn't normal and I wasn't like everyone else. So I deliberately, when I would intuit something or I would pick up some information, I would pretty much do the opposite of what it told me to do. And so my life was one interesting disaster after another because of that for many, many years. And then I finally decided that it isn't like a little handy light switch that I can turn on and off. It's there when I want it and not there when I don't want it. It's pretty much the way I operate. So it was not a comfy place to be in my head and in my life during all of those years. And I decided to determine whether I was a complete nutcase, as everyone said, or if there was some validity to this, and find out, why me? What is this? How does it work? What's going on? So it took me down some very interesting paths, philosophical, spiritual, religious, scientific, a lot of fascinating information, no real answers. And I met a man named Jose Silva at a conference, and he was absolutely wonderful to me and for me. He was very elderly, he was very ill. It was just before his death, and he was speaking with us one day, the group of us, and at lunch he came by the table and asked if he could speak with me, and spent just a very few minutes with me explaining to me that he recognized what it is I do and that he had been expecting me, and made me understand more how it is that I do what I do. And once I had those tools and that information, everything became clear to me, and it was much easier to be in my life. And I really embraced this thing that I do. My husband at the time was my biggest supporter and integral in me really allowing this thing to flourish and letting me be me. So between the two of them, that's how this started in earnest, with me developing this skill. And best I can explain it is the human brain, actually everything vibrates, but the human brain vibrates in different frequencies, which is it's a number of pulses per second. And you have the delta theta, which is unconsciousness and deep, deep sleep. And that's where healing takes place. And then as you're coming more into awareness, you have the alpha level. And the alpha level is that very diffused focus. It's where you are as you're drifting off to sleep or waking up in the morning, when you're doing very repetitive acts, when you're doing dishes or ironing, you're listening to music that you've heard often. And so you're not actually hearing every note. You're sort of drifting in and out. When you're imagining, that's the alpha focus. And then there's the beta focus, which is the fastest, and that's here and that's now. I'm doing math skills. I'm communicating with you. I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm working hard with this physical body right here, right now. This is where I'm aware of. So when the human mind is in that alpha frequency, that isn't right here, right now, this time, space, cold, hot floor. It's the conversation you had 3 weeks ago. It's the conversation you're thinking about having. So it's your imagination. But it's also, because it doesn't exist in this time and space, if you tune in on that frequency, you can go anywhere and pick up on anyone or anything else's radio signal. All animals live naturally in that alpha frequency. It's said that the earth now is vibrating at that alpha frequency. It isn't self-awareness and self-consciousness in this moment, but it is a certain amount of awareness. So basically my brain just sort of stays in that frequency and functions there more often. So in working with people and in really developing that skill, I was able to help someone with their health and go in and access that specific level of frequency and access a pure level of knowing that doesn't really have to do with me and my experience here and my knowledge and my opinions. So I can go into that focus, translate, access, bring all of that information in on a variety of subjects of what's going on in your life or someone else's, in their body, in their business, in every situation. And then bring it into a way and a means that you can communicate, that I can communicate, that we can have a basis of understanding. Now, you can do this too. This is not unique to me. Every single person uses the alpha level and has it. It's a natural brain function. I just live there more. You can train yourself to do this. You don't need me at all. No one needs another person. We all have access to this. So the Morgana materials are my interactions with that pure knowing and with the questions that people bring. And it's a broader perspective. And it's information for us to bring in and tools to really, I watched people use this information to transform their lives. I've transformed mine, every area of it. So it's like the pure knowledge of the way things work, those laws of the universe that aren't human laws. They're the laws of vibration and the laws of magnetics and the laws of the frequencies of like attracting like. And that's the way everything works, and it always has, always will. So it's bringing all that information down so you can use it to make your life better. And it's about you making your life better. It's about you taking all of this information, all these tools, all the recordings, everything that I've downloaded, and bringing it into your life and integrating what makes sense to you into your life, getting your hands in it, and really you taking it for your life. So the Morgana materials come from that purer space. It isn't me sitting and saying, well, this is benefit of my experience and my point of view, because that's good for me. It might not be so great for you. What you want is the way things work that you can take and integrate into you and your life and your experience and your personalities, and take them according to you and really make your life something, your health, your relationships, everything, anything you can define, anything you can come up with or think about or experience, engage, dream, all of that, the Morgana materials can be applied to make your life look like what you want it to have, your real life.